Today I'm making kimchi. For that, I'm using 2 Napa cabbages. They're on the small side. Typically, I would get a bigger Napa cabbage, but when I went to the Asian grocer, they only had 2 small Napa cabbages and this massive Napa cabbage. So I thought this was the way to go. So you have your 2 Napa cabbages, you have your radish, you have a fair-sized carrot, a bunch of green onions. The other ingredients you're going to need are fish sauce, Korean pepper flakes, whey, pink salt, ginger. What I do is I take my ginger, I blend it up in the food processor, and I create little piles of ginger in the freezer just to take out as and when I need it. And under that is garlic. I would say garlic to your taste. I'm not giving specific measurements with a lot of this because I've been making kimchi for 2 years. For me, it's a bit of this and it's a bit of that. Now, I've done my research with kimchi, through YouTube, internet in general. I do have the Nourishing Traditions basic Korean sauerkraut recipe. This is a good reference, although, I don't subscribe to all the beliefs in this book. It is a good recipe. One thing about the recipe in this book, though, it just says pepper flakes for the one of the ingredients, and you would presume it's this type of pepper flakes if you read this recipe. Well, it's not. If you want to make kimchi, you need to go to the Korean grocer and pick up these. They come in a number of sizes. I've actually seen them bigger in a larger bag than that, but I'm almost out. Somehow I don't think I'm going to have to open up that bag, but it's there if I do. So there we go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring you back after everything is washed and chopped. I don't have a tripod. It's hard to hold the camera, keep it still. So I'm just going to wash everything, chop it, and put it in my container and begin to pound it. And that's when I'm going to bring you back. I've washed and chopped all the vegetables, and now the vegetables are waiting for the extra ingredients. But before I add the extra ingredients, I wanted to show you, this is what I have left of my last batch. And it's still good. I'll finish that up. But normally if I get down to this much, that's when I make my next batch. So now I'm going to add just under 1/4 a cup of whey. I'm going to add some fish sauce. I'm going to add the pepper flakes and the tablespoon or so of salt. So why don't we start with the tablespoon of salt. This is pink salt. You can use iodized salt if you wish. Okay, that's not quite a tablespoon, so I'm going to go in and get a bit more. Great. Let's get a bit more. It's kind of getting in everywhere. Here we go. That is more or less a tablespoon. I'm now going to add the whey. I'm going to add fish sauce. A few shakes of it, I guess. That's good enough for me. Here we go. Fish sauce. Can be found at the Asian grocer. There we go. I guess, what is that, a tablespoon? Less than a tablespoon? Anyway, something like that. And the Korean pepper flakes. Here we go. There. I'm going to start with about that much. If I need more, I'll add more. And I'll bring you back. I'm going to start pounding it with my rolling pin. And when I'm done that, I'll put it in to my mason jars. Okay? Alrighty, so I'm mixing it up. And I'm pounding it. It's good to wear a glove. That way you don't get all this all over your hands. There. I think I'll add more pepper flakes. It's going to be nice and spicy. So here's what the kimchi looks like so far. I need to pound it more and I need to let it wilt a little bit. and then it will go into the 2 jars there. So I'll bring you back after I put it into the jars. So here is the kimchi. I've cleaned up the kitchen a bit. There's a lot more work to do. Anyway, so this is what you're looking for. You can see it's in its own brine. Here we go. This, I guess I could have, gotten away with a pint-sized jar, but, whatever. Here we go. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lid on, both of them. There we go. Rinse that off. There we go. I'm actually going to leave it on loose. And what you're going to notice with this one, if you do this yourself, this will raise up to the top, and then you'll have to get your pounder and push it down again. This has a lot of head space, so I don't expect that to happen too much with this jar. But yeah, that's what's going to happen. I'm just going to tighten this up, rinse it off, and then loosen it again because it's a mess. And put that on. There we go. I'm going to leave these on the counter for approximately 48 hours or longer, maybe a day longer, and then it's going to go into the refrigerator. And I did a previous video with my purple sauerkraut. You'll notice a lot of brine. Once you put it back into the fridge, it kind of soaks up into the mass of the kimchi here. But that's very normal. This will last me approximately 2 months. And like this, I have kimchi primarily in a smoothie. Sometimes I have it in a bowl. But it will last approximately 2 months in the fridge, and then I'll have to start over again and do this. So there you go. That's how I make kimchi. Now, not everybody in the fermenting community uses whey. Well, I use it. It works for me. I've never had mold, and it may be the reason why, but maybe it's not. I get my whey from kefir because with kefir, there are many, many more beneficial strains of bacteria and yeast than what exists in yogurt. So that is where I source my whey, from the kefir I make. Anyway, good luck. I hope you give this a try. I'd like to make a correction. I said you could use iodized salt. I meant non-iodized salt. I have never used iodized salt in my kimchi. Something like sea salt would also be acceptable.